Item 1 then, apologies. Have apologies from Councillor Chris Wells. Item 5 on the agenda, Manston Airport CPO potential indemnity partner, which again I will introduce myself. This report seeks Cabinet authority to undertake a soft market testing exercise to gauge the level of interest for an indemnity partner for a potential CPO for Manston Airport. Whilst we are aware of indications of interest, it is important that we have in place a formal structure for assessing that interest. The process will involve publishing a prior information notice in OJEU, the official journal of the European Union, in early 2016 with a questionnaire for potential partners. The questions will be about finance, company structures, outlined business plans, any financial guarantors, and how the CPO public interest test will be met. There will then be a 4-week period for responses in writing to the Council. Those responses will then be assessed and reported to Cabinet in due course. Do I have a seconder for this? Councillor Programme. People wishing to speak under 24.1? Councillor Campbell.
Thank you, Deputy Leader. I'm speaking on this item tonight to ensure that there is at least one voice that will raise concerns about your proposal to embark upon yet another soft market testing for a proposed indemnity partner in the seemingly never-ending saga that is the CPO of the Manston site. Surely it's about time that you and your Cabinet bit the bullet and recognise that the owners of the site have a different and possibly a more beneficial plan than yours. Instead of embarking on the route you're proposing, would it be more beneficial to work with those owners to seek to influence their master plan for the site, to seek to incorporate it into our own local plan? This action is for the benefit of Thanet as a whole. The proposal you are considering tonight will lead you in a direct opposition to that master plan, and therefore offer very little or no opportunity for cooperation or influence.
It's an airport, right?
I understand that after the promises you and your party made before the May election, that the option to work with the current owners will be a difficult decision for you to make. But when circumstances change, decision and policies must change as well. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Councillor Campbell. We take note of them. Clearly the planning department will be dealing with the current owners' plans. Thank you. Councillor Bayford.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Not surprisingly, I come from a slightly different direction to the previous speaker. I'm glad to see this item on the agenda tonight, but we've only got it here because this council decided not to actually go into business with River Oak. And I'm very sorry that Councillor Wells isn't here tonight, because I think a lot of people feel that he was very influential in that decision, and I would have liked to have challenged him on one or two things, but he's not here, there's no point in doing that at all. What I do think is that many people feel that there was a lost opportunity with River Oak, and the time that it took to actually bring that to a conclusion certainly won't help the chance of that airport coming back into life again. The longer it stays closed, the harder it's going to be to open it again. But at least we're going through the motions. But I hope we're doing more than going through the motions. I mean, this process seems to have sprung out of the comment that, again, that Councillor Wells made, that there were 4 interested parties. Under challenge, he couldn't provide any evidence of those 4, and indeed the Freedom of Information request asking for some information about them actually elicited the response that this council wasn't aware of any interest in the airport. So I hope they weren't just figments of Councillor Wells' imagination. There's 2 things that really I'd like some clarification on. The due diligence process. It's my contention that right from the beginning, the biggest difficulty with this council becoming partnered with River Oak was the fact that River Oak operate in a totally different way, not surprisingly, to an English district council. And I think that there was always going to be great difficulty in River Oak actually meeting some of the due diligence criteria that this council had. I mean, when you actually examine a due diligence process, it's fine if you want to get the council roof repaired. It doesn't actually work if you're actually looking at a project that may have international interest. And I think that I'd certainly hope that if any of the interest comes from companies that are based abroad, or indeed if River Oak actually come back and take part in this process again, that there will be some recognition of the difference in the way they operate, and that we will take some actual qualified advice to actually help us understand the differences and why in fact they don't necessarily need to be a barrier to us working together. And the last question, which again Councillor Wells should be here to answer this, is that if River Oak do come back, if River Oak do want to take part in this process, will they actually start with an absolute clean sheet, or will there be history there? Because if there is, that will be a disaster. Thank you.
Councillor Bayford, in respect of your question regarding the due diligence process, I just want to confirm that it's entirely appropriate for TDC to rely on its own due diligence process, and actually one of our requirements will be that any submissions of interest will be based on English accounting rules, and that's important for us to ensure that we're applying across the board and that everybody understands the basis of how we will be assessing those documents.
No vote then, nothing.
Any submission, this expressions of interest process, soft market testing process, are open to anybody to apply, and it is a new process.
How's the process changed?
You happy with that answer, Councillor Bayford?
Happy isn't the word I'd use, no.
Cabinet agreed to a soft market testing exercise being undertaken and instruct the Director of Corporate Governance to carry out the exercise. Agreed, thank you. I call the meeting closed. Thank you.